Okay, so we were looking forward to talk to you. Of course, what stands out first is the fact that you are a brilliant actress, but also, well, yeah, you are.
Thanks, friend.
Your acting skills is what comes out 1st. But also, we know that you are a very concerned person about the environment and what surrounds you. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, as an actor, we have a wonderful platform from which to speak about things on the planet if we want, right? And in my case, there's only so many hours of the day that I can allocate to other ventures. And so I tried to focus on two things. For me, it was the environment and children's welfare. And I just feel like these are no-brainers, right? If I can contribute in any way to a child having a healthier life, to having a better education, then it makes sense. If I can contribute in any way to us having a healthier planet and a healthier sort of existence on this planet, then that absolutely makes sense. So I try to add value to that wherever I go.
You once said about your parents and your education, and correct me if I'm wrong, they got my 5 siblings and me educated, piano, ballet, karate, well-traveled and excited about the world.
Yeah.
Do you think education is key in building a better world where children can become better adults?
I think what benefits children is exposure to opportunities, exposure to other ways of seeing and thinking about the world and about the future. And then I think the primary thing for a child, I'm speaking from a little bit of a remote experience, but I think that the primary thing for a child is to give a child hope, to offer a child a way to dream of a possibility for him or herself. So I think that that's one of the best gifts we can give children.
And that leads us a little bit, can we talk a little bit about your own childhood? Because you were born into an immigrant family from the Balkans, and you were born in Canada, and then you moved to the US.
Yes.
All that moving around, did it change somehow the way you grew up, the way you are today?
Well, I suppose coming from an immigrant family, we were taught a certain kind of value, a work ethic. Because everything my parents created, they created from next to nothing. Everything my family created, they created from next to nothing. And they saw that anything was possible if you just dedicated enough time and effort towards it. So yeah, I think that was something that has benefited me over time. I don't see any of this, I don't take any of it for granted. And I know that so much is possible just by applying myself in a focused manner in it.
So your biggest inspiration are your parents?
They are, yes, they're amongst the top, yes.
Because I've heard that you also feel very inspired by some of your favorite artists, musicians, like 50 Cent and Snoop Dogg. And I'm sure a lot of people can relate with that. Can you explain a little bit more?
I think, I think that question ultimately comes from a space where I was talking about learning how to rap. This is so goofy. Yes, I would really like to learn how to rap. And I said, I'd love to learn how to rap from like Snoop Dogg or 50 Cent because I think they do it brilliantly. And so, if you're going to learn, you might as well learn from the best. So that's really where that comes from.
You have 10 award nominations and 7 wins. Do you think that having your work recognized changes somehow the way you see your work and the way you face your job every day?
It doesn't change necessarily anything for me in the way that I approach my work, but I think that it does change the way that the industry approaches an actor and approaches their future projects. It means that you might be offered a few more things than you would otherwise. It means that perhaps there's a bit more trust in an actor and in their sort of instincts. So that's ultimately the benefit of something like that.
So speaking about work, you are not only the actress, you've also developed other functions such as executive production in Absentia. Could you tell us how that happened and how exciting is it?
Yeah, so it was something that when we started the project, they offered up the opportunity to become an executive producer. And I'd already spent so many years working in film and television that it felt like the right next step for me. And it was really important to me to have a bit of a voice in the development of a project and in the eventual portrayal of these characters and the story overall. And it was something that showed up with Sony, and it's been such a gift. It's been such a blessing to work, first of all, with the team at Sony, who are all really phenomenal filmmakers and very committed to Absentia. Alongside Julie Glucksman, who's our creative executive producer. I think we've all kind of found a really nice synergy working together.
You've once said, I believe in characters who aren't perfect. I believe in people, and I believe in playing characters that are like people. I love this sentence. Can you comment a little bit, tell us a little bit more?
I feel like every person has both a dark side and a light side. And ideally, we grow as we move on in life, and we try to move towards the light, maybe, hopefully, right?
Hopefully.
But I feel like if we're going to tell stories in the modern day where the superheroes are no longer really perfect, Superman is a very perfect kind of character. Batman is not so perfect. And Batman feels more like a modern day hero in many ways. So I feel like if we want to start portraying characters, we have to be more honest about a human being and recognize that sometimes the gray areas of a character are the most interesting dramatic sides and the most truthful portrayals of people.
I've heard you're very good with languages. Besides English, which one can you speak?
So I speak Serbo-Croatian, which kind of falls under a number of different languages, but it's essentially the same. And then I speak French and Italian. And sometimes I speak it better after a glass of wine.
Likewise.
Yeah? Okay.
I think everyone.
Oh my gosh, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I've heard that you are also into some Spanish, some Portuguese. Can I ask you to tell something in Spanish?
Oh, you know what? I babble a little bit. And sometimes I can understand and get by a little bit. But I've learned a few phrases now that I've been here, and hopefully I'll continue. We're going to go to a flamenco concert tonight.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
Would you be brave enough to say something in Spanish?
Oh, Dios mío. What should I say? Gracias a todos por esta exclusiva oportunidad de presentare, this is almost Italian, isn't it? Yeah? Absentia. P.U.
And would you be able to say something in Portuguese?
Acho que é português. Obrigada. That's about it. That's all I got right now in Portuguese.
Obrigada, Stara. I think that was a brilliant way to finish the interview.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and it was such a pleasure. And I wish you all the best with Absentia and all the other projects, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It was lovely. Thank you.